Ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, it's coming up to that time of the year where we finally get to celebrate the 1983 collection, celebrating part of the celebrations of the 40th anniversary of the SMWS. Founded in 1983 by Pep Hills, who founded the SMWS 40 years ago this year, actually close to the end of 1983 as far as I know, so it's actually very fitting that we are pretty much on the 40th anniversary of Pep founding the club, and as a result we've got this very special set of 4 bottlings, the 1983, celebrating the year to which it all started. They're all very purposefully selected casks for this special set. They will be available, of course, individually in October Outturn, or you may wish to try and grab all 4. We do have a very limited allocation of each. I think it's 36 bottles of each are available. One of those 36 of each are in front of me right here, so it's even less than you think. However, they are all special labelled with the big number on the front to indicate the year, the marker within that 1983 year set. But it also means that's the distillery code from which each of these casks have been sourced. So Distillery 1, Distillery 9, Distillery 8, Distillery 3. But let's have a nose and taste of each one. I've got each one in front of me here just to see how we're going along here. This is actually my first time nosing and tasting these, so we'll see how we go. Now, this Distillery 1 is called Happy in a Hippie Shop. They all do have a flavour profile. They have black labels on them and stuff, but this is a flavour profile that says this one is sweet, fruity and mellow, and it is a 10-year-old 60.3% ABV. It's 10-year-old with an extra maturation in ex-Cask wine barrel. So it's a very unusual maturation form, this one. We've never seen this one locally before. We've never seen this type of wine cask used. The diversity of casks and diversity of wood and wood policy and wood maturation at the Society is always growing. And that's kind of the fun and the diversity of what we bottle at the Society, is the sheer diversity of the number of casks that we see through. So ex-Cosecha, I'm going to say that right this time, ex-Cosecha wine barrel is a Spanish wine, so usually ex-Rioja or ex-Rabia cask types, which are Spanish wines. So the wine cask influence on this nose is not immediately apparent. Like it's you know how some wine cask whiskies, especially if you are a fan of a lot of Australian whiskies that mature in wine casks, it's not really that punchy. It's got a lot more sort of like soft fruits and subtle complexity going on straight away. A little bit dry as well on the nose, like it's a like dry sort of like a dry white wine almost. Let's have a taste. I'm getting immediately like poached pears and brown sugar and like the dry white wine sort of note as well, but very clearly that I often say Distillery 1, the distillate from Distillery 1, which is our cellar master's one of his favourite distillery, is the distillate from Distillery 1 is often quite it's quite savoury. It's quite vegetal. One of the tasting notes I've often said for this distillery is gazpacho. It's like a cold vegetable soup in some ways, and it definitely carries a bit of that influence on the spirit character here. But it's lovely, sweet poached pears, brown sugar notes, orchard fruits. That'll work really well. I'm going to add a drop of water to that one and see how it behaves. I have only got a tiny bit of whiskey in each glass. I'm going to tread carefully with my water here, just to add a tiny bit to see how that comes along. It's natural cask strength, of course, like everything here. It's 60.3%. I'll come back around to that one in a moment. Distillery 9. Now, Distillery 1 was where it all started with 1.1 with us at the Society. Distillery 9 was on the 9th one along, and this is a 19-year-old, so this is quite old. I think this is the oldest of the bunch. 52.8% natural cask strength. Distillery 9.274, and it's called Toffee Apple Orchard. And it's in the sweet, fruity and mellow flavour profile as well. Let's have a smell of that one. Ooh, that's lovely. It's delicate. I get like red apple skins, like apple chutney. Ooh. Bit of nutmeg and like sponge cake. Ooh, Toffee apple orchard is correct. It's really appley. It's got like orchard fruits, like sprinkled nutmeg on top of like on a dessert, on a sponge cake or something like that. That's sweet, fruity, and mellow to the core. They're both first two whiskeys are sweet, fruity, and mellow, but they're both just a little tiny bit different from each other. Obviously, one being almost twice the age of the other. These Distillery 9s often have this also. Distillery 9 is a distillery that has often this. It's a Speyside distillery that often has this lovely vanilla wafer note as well in some of the whiskies, and I think this one has it as well. Ooh, opens up nicely with water. Doesn't need much. It's already only 52.8%, but it's already got. I can't get over that sort of like sprinkled nutmeg and maybe Brazil nut and sponge cake notes in this one. That is a perfect example of the Distillery 9. I've added a bit of water to that. I'm going to let that sit and open up for a bit longer. Now, Distillery 8. Here we go, 8 shaded by flowers, 8.43. It's a 7-year-old, so it's the youngest of the bunch here, but it's entirely matured in XPX, an XPX barrel here, and it is in the deep, rich, and dried fruits. It's full sherry maturation, Distillery 8. Now, for those who are keen observers of our coding system, will maybe realize, if you've not read Outturn yet, that this is the first Distillery 8 bottling we've bottled at the Society, I think in 17 years. So the last one was like, I can't remember, it was like 2006 or 2005 or something like that. So it's been a long time between bottlings of Distillery 8. So it's great that we're able to source one of these for the purposes of definitely a sherry cask. Like deep, rich, and dried fruits way through the nose there. That's just lovely. There's hints of like blood orange, pomegranate, like spiced nuts, like spiced Dutch biscuit as well. Cocoa powder, like old bodega funk, like that old sherry funk, like an old wine cellar. Lovely like dunnage floor smell. This one is going to be popular, especially once people have a taste of it. Speaking of a taste of it, where can you taste these great bottlings? Woo! You're going to be able to taste them at Whisky Alement, of course. Whisky Alement is the partner bar that takes on all of the Society Outturn at the moment, including the entire October Outturn, with the exception of the 29 in this case. But everything else is definitely on the bar. And this deep, rich, and dried fruits Distillery 8 will not kick around. I can't get this. It's like Ovaltinis. That's the word I was looking for. It's like those little Ovaltini lollies. Is anyone of the generation that remembers Ovaltini lollies? Are they still a thing? They probably don't exist anymore. But Ovaltini lollies were definitely a thing. Adam, our producer and marketing whiz, is shaking his head. He's saying yes, they don't exist anymore, but he remembers them as well. Yeah, Ovaltini lollies. I'm not inclined to add water to that, actually. I don't want to. I have often said on streams before, and I do advise you that if you are, that sherried whiskies generally don't need water as much as I'd say ex-bourbon whiskies in some ways. The water often just, it breaks it down too much. I'm going to leave that at 61.4%. Wow. That's so easily drinkable as well, that proof. It's lovely. It's like buttered toast and with blackcurrant jam and cocoa powder. That's weird. I love it. Weird and wacky and wonderful. Now let's go to the last one. (1983) was the year it was founded, so Distillery 3 is the fourth bottling in this set. 18 years of age. Mellifluous quince? Mellifluous quince? That's a hard word to say, especially after you've had a few drams. 3.348, an 18-year-old whiskey, full maturation in a second fill ex-bourbon barrel. I think I'm getting that right. 56.9%. So, Distillery 3, Isla whiskey. third distillery to ever join the society. Yeah, that is just that tropical smoke. That soft, perfumey tropical smoke. Not too perfumey though, and not a hint of soap. But just a little bit of like old school, that tropical smoke note straight away. There's a bit of lemon in that, like lemon cake or lemon drizzle. Like a little bit of stewed rhubarb and lemon drizzle sort of thing going on there. Maybe it's almost could be, you could almost confuse this with being like a second fill rum cask almost. There's a bit of like a little bit rummy as influence as well. Just a little taste of that. That is that's lovely. It's far more savoury on the palate than I was expecting from the nose. The nose is sweet tropical fruits and smoke, but it's this elegant sort of fruit salad and like waft of like sea spray and smoke on the palate. This is what you call in Islay whiskey language. This would be a very relaxed Islay whiskey. This is the kind of one that you could sit on for a long afternoon, especially heading into these warm months. This would be a lovely one to enjoy. So they're all single cask. They are all available in October Outturn. You can try and grab all four if you like, or you can obviously get them individually. We have broken up the sets, but it looks cool if you get all four, because then you get the 1983 across the front there. And this is, of course, part of our, I think it's 5 main releases for the 40th anniversary of Bottlings. We started with our Maverick bottling, which you can see here, and we've also had this set now as well, and you'll also see, I think it's 2 more 40th anniversary releases still to come this year. No, so yeah, this is one of 5. I was right. We saw 1.285, the 11-year-old, which vanished on ballot. So thank you for everyone who joined in on that ballot. And then this set, and there's 2 others still to come. So one more, which is a premium livery bottling, and one more, which is a very, very special release to follow. That's all from me at the moment. Thank you so much for coming along this journey. These will be available in October Outturn, the first Friday of October, which I think is the 6th. And also you'll be see them at Whisky Alement on the bar open. If you're watching this, they're on the bar. I'll see you all soon. Slanjava, happy dramming. Cheers.